welcome to my army showcase video for my Imperial fists as they currently stand. So as you can see, it's quite a small force at the minute. It's only at 1,000 points, but I'm building it. I'm just going to lift this dice. But I'm building it up with a narrative in my head, and that narrative is that traditionally Imperial fists are all about defense, they're all about siege works, and they're all about holding firm in the face of the enemy. And that force can do this, but I wanted a smaller Imperial fist force which was based around mobility, because although they are renowned for, as I said, building fortifications and holding fortifications, as Dorn was, they do have armoured elements that then, once the enemy has sort of crashed in against their wall in the flood tide, that tide eventually has to ebb, and rather than let the enemy, as they retreat, regroup and gather strength to strike again, in my mind, this Imperial Fist force is the one that then rams out and mops up the enemy that has exhausted itself against the defences. So it's almost as if this army that I'm building around my Imperial Fist narrative around is the mopping up force. The force that goes out having stood firm already against the enemy and then finishes them off using heavily armoured detachments. And Imperial Fists would have a lot of heavily armoured stuff because, well, again, they hold walls, and walls need cannons. So, so far in my force, I have this guy, who is as of yet unnamed, but if anyone has any suggestions for a name for an Imperial Fist captain, do let me know. The more games I play with him, and the more his narrative develops, I'll make a game for him. I played 2 games with this guy so far. He's died in one and survived the other, but didn't see any action. Well, saw very minimal action towards the end of the game, which is in a battle report, actually, on the channel. And if I remember, I'll put the link in the description below. So this is my captain. And I'll see if I can zoom in a little bit closer. There we go. And as you can see, he's armed with a power sword, which I usually use as the Burning Blade relic, because it's just a really cool relic. And I give him the Imperium sword trait, because he's lancing out and attacking the enemy. Really love painting this model. Imperial Fists were always an army that I was really sort of in awe of, with the yellow and then the black trim. A really amazing colour scheme, which just looks really striking on the tabletop. So that's the captain. I've got a librarian, the darker blue armour, and then just the brown robes to sort of help the yellow and creams fit in a bit. Transfers come from Forge World, which is a great transfer sheet. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but you just get so much on it. So there he is. He's got Dorn written on his shoulder pad there as a sign of his allegiance. So he's a bit darker, doesn't pop as much in the battlefield, but that's my Primaris librarian. No name for this guy yet either. And then I have a squad of 6 intercessors with assault bolters, because again, the whole thing about this force is being the armoured fist and striking the enemy as they're down quickly. So that's a sergeant, the bare face, bolter and armour pad. These are really, really great models, the Primaris range. Really lovely to paint. I painted these with the TT Combat sprays, actually, and I just sprayed directly over the plastic with the yellow, and then what I did was I got Averland Sunset, Uriel yellow, I think it is, and Phalanx yellow, and just with very soft dry brushing brightened up the yellow in that sort of order. So Averland Sunset, Uriel Yellow, and the... oh, what did I say it was? The brighter yellow, whatever it was. Phalanx Yellow, that's it. And then with a smaller brush and Agrax Earthshade, just went in through all the recesses and done the panel lining. And any mistakes then with the Agrax that kind of blotch out, I tidied up a bit as well. But I don't tend to be too neat with some blotches and things in my models, because my mantra is that it looks good at this distance, then that's good for me. And also, there's soldiers in the 41st millennium. Everywhere is covered in grime and dirt and dust and different things. So that's one squad of 6, and then I have another squad of 6 intercessors. So the red helmet on the sergeant in this one. Same thing again, just built up the colours gradually. Again, transfers from Forge World. Stick them on with a bit of water and a slight dab of PVA glue just to hold them in place, and then brush over them with a matte varnish from Army Painter. So, really, really pleased with them. I then have a Redemptor Dreadnought, who I'm really, really proud of, because I bought this model 2 months before lockdown started that Christmas. So that's what, back in, oh gosh, 2019. So it's actually nearly 3 years ago, just over 2 years ago. And he started life as a Black Templar. So he was all black, and I painted and everything all black. And then I decided he would join the father chapter of the Imperial Fist. So I had to build up the yellows gradually, just with very thin layers of Averland Sunset over the black, and just gradually built it all up, because I had the silvers and the blacks and everything else, and the gold and everything painted. So I didn't want to, strip the model and just go back to the start. So I just built up the yellow that way, which I'm really, really proud of how it turned out, because it looks it fits in really well with the rest of the force. And a big yellow dreadnought is just a nice dreadnought to have. Lovely transfers as well from Forge World, especially this one. Just a lovely bit of artwork there. Really helps make the model pop. So that's him, Redemptor Dreadnought, with the DACA options. And then finally, the last model in the force so far is my Repulsor Executioner, which is sort of the crowning glory of the force thus far. A lot of firepower on this model, and I'm only bringing one of them, one Executioner, because sorry, video conked out there, don't know what happened. So this is my Executioner. Only going to have one of them because the firepower that they bring to bear is phenomenal, and points cost as well. So really, really great model. The black and the yellow just work so well in my opinion. I think for other ones I'm going to do different variants of the black and yellow patterning, so I might do all of the front here black, and then maybe black round and black out all the doors, and then everything up there yellow. We'll see how it looks. I just don't want everything to be too samey in the army either. Again, transfers from Forge World, just to help bring out the detail in the model. And this is an impressive piece of kit. And again, the same thing. Panel line, built up the yellows gradually with dry brushes, then panel lined, done some extra edge highlighting on this just to make it stand out a bit more, and then with a sponge and some brown, some black and some silver paint and random splotches just added the battle damage, because again, this force has been fighting on the walls and are now out, zooming out to take the fight to the enemy. So that's that, and of course the turret can lift off and rotate. But a Repulsor is just a lovely, lovely model. Gorgeous model. So, army development. Where do we go from here? Well, I have another 3 intercessors to bring in, which would mean this and this, plus the 3 that are coming, would be the 3 squads of 5, which will give me a battalion detachment. This is currently just a patrol detachment for 1,000 points. So to develop the army further from there, I've got those 3 coming in, and then from this box set, which is just a great value box set, I think, from Games Workshop, I'm going to use the aggressors. And I'm going to give them the Boltstorm Gauntlets variant, which makes sense for Imperial Fists. So that they will be added to the force from this box set. Really great box set. It says Blood Angels, but it has the Blood Angels upgrade sprue, but you could use them for any chapter. The Librarian from this is the Librarian that I used. I just wanted more Intercessors, more Aggressors, and a Librarian, and this works out cheaper. Plus you get the Incursors and the Impulsor as well. So these are great kits, and don't be put off if you see like Blood Angels. This can go for any chapter. It just contains the Blood Angels upgrade sprue, which you don't have to use. You don't have to put any of those parts in your models, and you're not missing anything. So that's really great kit. Heavy Intercessors, squad of those to ride around in probably the Executioner, or maybe to hold objectives in the backfield. Lovely, lovely models as well, and very, very much part of the Imperial Fist canon of very heavy armor and stoic warriors that don't bend. So 5 of those to join the force. A few more Intercessors just to build up tactical options. So another squad of 10. A Repulsor, because this is a strike force, so they need vehicles, and they need heavy vehicles, and another Repulsor. So 2 Repulsors. So these 2 Repulsors, the Heavy Intercessors, and the Aggressors, along with this, make a 2,000 point force that is mobile. It can strike hard and should pose a significant enough threat. Now, tactically, on the battlefield in match play, I think it'll work quite well. Because what I would do is I would deploy all 3 vehicles with something in them. So maybe a squad of 5 and the captain, a squad of 5 and the librarian, and so on. And then if the enemy gets the first turn, these assets are inside some of the heaviest tanks in the game. So they should survive a turn in there. Then in turn 2, to grab objectives, move the tanks forward, get these guys out, and they can hold objectives, while the tanks, because there's 3 of them, and a Dreadnought, should be able to lay down enough fire to give the enemy something to think about. Meanwhile, these squads could be retrieve Octarius data, they could be, holding objectives, and different things as well. The captain is a severe melee threat with the Imperium sword, warlord trait, and the burning blade, which gives him 7 attacks on the charge, hitting on 2s, strength 8, so he's normally going to be wounding on 2s, minus 5 AP, so just armor saves are just out of the question there, and 2 damage a time. So he has the potential to do 14 damage if he gets his wounds through, which he generally seems to do. There's quite a high thing there with him. So it's protecting him in some of those vehicles, getting him forward, charging him in. And that's kind of how my army, how I feel it's going to be. So I'll keep you updated on how the Imperial Fists are going. And I'll get looking forward to building and painting up some more yellow tanks. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to give a little like to the video if you've enjoyed the content, and subscribe as well if you want to see more and see how this army, among some others, develops throughout the next coming year. Okay, take care, guys, and happy wargaming.